It was 2:37 a.m. when I realized my daughter Emma was seriously ill. At just 5 years old, she was sweating, trembling, and struggling to breathe. I rushed her to the emergency room with shaking hands, terrified for my child's life. But as I sat in that sterile hospital room, watching my little girl fight for breath, I had no idea that my next phone call would reveal the true face of my family. The people who raised me, who I trusted most, would abandon me when I needed them desperately. What happened next transformed my greatest betrayal into my most powerful comeback. If you've ever felt completely alone when you needed help most, you need to hear how I turned my family's rejection into a movement that saved thousands of mothers. Hit subscribe for more stories of incredible strength, and tell us in the comments, have you ever been left completely alone in your darkest hour? By morning, I learned Emma had severe pneumonia. The doctors said she needed constant care. I hadn't slept in over a day, hadn't eaten in 20 hours, and my phone was dying. But I still made the call I'd been avoiding for months. I reached out to my parents for help. "Mom," I said quietly, trying to keep the desperation from my voice. "Emma's really sick. I need help with her care and some medical costs." Before I could finish, I heard her sharp laugh. "You're always asking for something. Maybe if you'd made better choices, you wouldn't be struggling alone." My heart sank. "Please, Mom. She's just a child." My father took the phone. "You've always been the one looking for handouts. Your sisters don't cause problems like this." I hung up in stunned silence, looking at Emma's small form. I whispered to her, "We'll get through this, sweetheart. Just you and me." I tried my sister next. She had a successful online business and constantly shared her perfect life. "You're still playing the victim card," she said when I called. "Some people never learn to take responsibility for their own failures." The words cut deep, from someone who had once been my closest friend. Sitting in that hospital, facing bills I couldn't pay, and a child who needed care, I felt completely alone. No one was coming to help. That's when I realized something had to change. Instead of crying, I opened my notebook and started writing. I listed every cruel word, every rejection, every moment I had been dismissed. I wasn't writing as a victim anymore. I was documenting evidence of what I was capable of surviving. The next weeks tested every ounce of strength I had. Emma fought the infection while I worked from her hospital bed, typing articles and managing clients on almost no sleep. The nurses commented on how I never left Emma's side. Home, I thought. I had no one waiting there, no support system, just the sound of medical equipment and my own determination. My family was living their lives while I was fighting mine. I learned they had taken a vacation, celebrating their peace and quiet, while my daughter was in intensive care. My sister was posting content about cutting toxic people from her life, using my situation as inspiration for her followers. That's when I decided to channel my pain into purpose. I had been working with a marketing company and proposed a campaign about invisible mothers, women like me who were struggling alone. The CEO loved the idea and asked me to share my story. The response was overwhelming. My story resonated with women across the country. I was invited to speak, to write, to share what it meant to fight alone. I never named names, but everyone understood the message. Eventually, I created a foundation to help other single mothers in crisis. Emma and I returned to our community, not as the abandoned daughter and sick child, but as leaders building support for others. My family showed up to my event, but I had already found my real family, the community of women who understood survival. My father brought a check and an apology. I thanked him but declined. "Help someone else," I said. "Help a mother who still believes in kindness." My sister approached, crying, saying she was sorry. I told her, I don't hate you. I just don't need your approval anymore. Now when I see Emma's artwork in our community center, a simple drawing of mothers and children, surrounded by hearts, I remember that love speaks loudest when no one else will. I didn't just survive my family's rejection. I built something that ensures no mother like me has to face her crisis alone. The woman who once sat alone in a hospital room, rejected by everyone she called family, now sits in a room full of mothers who have found hope again. That's how you turn abandonment into purpose. You survive, you succeed, and you make sure no one else has to go through what you did.